Good evening. Happy Friday. Man, we have not done a YouTube live stream on a Friday in a long time. I'm hoping Traveling Robert is done with his. His starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. This is 7 p.m. Eastern. This is kind of a special edition of a live stream. This is not a What's Up Wednesday. It is more of a Q&A about my rounding out my first month in my Dolphin SS special edition built by Embassy RV. Been getting a lot of questions. We had quite a few questions on What's Up Wednesday this week and last. So I thought we'd throw one in for good measure before the month is out. So I can tell you how my experience has been in this van. So vastly different than what I'm used to. I moved in, what was it, February 28, I want to say. And it's been a wild ride already. Literally, I think a year or a year. It seems like a month ago today. Holy cow. Thanks for being here, everybody. Really appreciate it. I got a few ideas to discuss. We won't go a full hour, probably go about a half hour or so until the questions kind of end. But these are kind of things that are new and different for me. We're going to say hi to some folks here in a minute, but these are kind of Embassy RV specific. This is not really being promoted by Embassy RV, but I just want to give a 30-day state of the Dolphin address. And these are, again, are things that are very different than what I have been used to for the last over 6 years, in year number 7. So if any of that is of interest to you, I'm fair game tonight. And these are kind of general van life topics, which is all fair game as well. But if we want to focus on Embassy RV, that's cool, or anything else on your mind. And by the way, I'm at a Harvest Host site, which is pretty awesome. I spent the last 24 hours outside of greater, I guess, Fort Myers and Sarasota, doing a whirlwind 24 hours of recording adventure van videos. So I am completely drained. But before I left town today, there was this super dive looking liquor joint just down the street from the dealership I was working with. And I popped in for no good reason. And I discovered some new firewater. And the thing that turned me on was the bottle and the label. There we go, Scott. It's a beautiful bottle. It's so heavy. You can knock somebody out with this thing. And it's got a metal cap, just like Castle and Key. So as the sign alludes to back here, I'm having a little, because it's happy hour on the West Coast. Thanks for being here. It's really good. By the way, it's made in Nevada. Who would have thought bourbon in Nevada? It's at the kind of the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas. So maybe that's why we might do these happy hours more often. All right, let's say hi to some folks. Let's see if there's questions. Sherry, thank you as always. Sherry's in Savannah, Georgia. We're actually making a plan to get there late April, probably May, in the Dolphin. So we street camped there several nights. I'm curious where you're staying. Don't give away any secrets. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. And thanks for posting us on the Embassy RV Owners Wannabe page. Appreciate that. Hello from the Sun and Fun Air Show in Lakeland, Florida. How's that going, Eric? That sounded like so much fun. Wasn't April going too? I can't remember. Here's Sharon in the house. Good to see you, ma'am. Still home in Ohio until the first week in May, then headed to Utah to wait for Canada and Alaska to thaw out. Canada might not let you in. They continue to be more and more upset. Wouldn't that be funny if you have to take a ferry to Alaska because they won't let you in? Americans in general. I don't know. That wouldn't be funny at all, actually. Here's Christine Berger. Nice to see you. Happy Friday from Iowa City, Iowa. We have a perfect 79 degrees. Are you kidding me? Holy cow. I think that's warmer than Florida, actually. It's going to be 56 here tonight. Again, I'm at a Harvest Host site. Thanks for being here, Christine. Appreciate that. You're saying it sounds amazing. I love Harvest Host, and it's been really nice because I've been on this tear the last 3 days. And so the doors are open. The winds are blowing. It's actually fairly windy. I look out the window. I see chickens. They're all starting to roost up now. I see horses and ponies. And the Harvest Host, one of the daughters, just came out, and she's, I'm guessing, 7 or 8, just attended to the rabbits. They have a whole, what do you call a building full of rabbits? A hutch. She was in bare feet too, and pretty cute. giving them food and water. Chores on the farm, like the good old days. Here's Dale. Dale, good to see you, sir. San Diego. It's warmer in Iowa City than San Diego. Dale, what's up? Yeah, Costco, 5% back on Costco gasoline purchased at Costco. I think it's pretty awesome. I always try and find a Costco. And that's great. Here's Bob Scott in the house. Bob Scott, Flagler Beach, Florida. Thanks for being here. Say hi to your bride. And let's see. Thank you for using the questions. Here's David. Hi. Glad to have you here, sir. Here's Javier. Thank you for being here. From New Hampshire. Holy cow. There's Miss Jatter. Hey, Kathy, what's up? Half Moon Bay. Gas is expensive. She's not even putting it in there. Freezing, 55 degrees. That's pretty crazy. And Eric's got a question here. Let's see. How do you like the drivetrain, specifically the newer transmission? Anything else improved? He's talking about the Ram chassis. This is the 2000, I'm guessing 25, 24 late Ram chassis, ProMaster. It's the same power plant. I think all of the changes were in the transmission and in all the safety gear and electronics, I'm going to say. I love the dash. The dash is cool. I do prefer analog gauges myself, but they're digital representations of analog gauges, so that's pretty cool. CarPlay is nice. I've actually found it to be a little distracting and annoying. It's kind of interesting. Apple fanboy myself, but I'm like, it's kind of interesting. The transmission has made all the difference. Before, I would rarely speed because I would be in fourth and fifth gear wherever I'm going, just because the van is not geared correctly. This one, I think, has a 9-speed, 7-speed. I have a 6-speed in mine, and I drive across most states in fifth gear, even in drive. So I think, Eric, it's been a tremendous improvement. I think gas mileage, weirdly, is about the same, but it's not constantly shifting and downshifting from 6 to 5 to 4 to 5, 6 for a few minutes. I was in a really big headwind today coming out of the greater Fort Myers area, and it was coming at me, and this thing did not struggle. Whereas Lily, my van, would have probably been in fifth gear, 2,500, 3,000 RPMs the entire way. Putzing along on the freeway at 60 some miles an hour, everybody passing me. This one, I'm just keeping up. So I'm really impressed. The safety stuff, I'm just not a fan of. A lot of people like it. I've turned most of it off. Everything I could figure out how to turn off, I've turned off. I like to drive. The adaptive cruise is kind of cool, I'll admit, but I like to drive. I don't want the machine doing the work for me. But everything else is the same. The steering wheel's got the leather wrapped on it, so it's really nice. The cab seats are firm like they are in a Ram. The seating position is like a dining room chair, like a Ram. And, the HVAC, I'm looking over at the dash. HVAC, it blows cold, blows hot, just like mine. The inputs are different. Again, analog gauges, analog knobs, I think work great. And so I took a little learning curve there. And every now and again, I just get this alert for, I don't know what reason. I can't figure it out, but it's really great. It's almost worth buying a new van just to have the better chassis for sure. And I'm not really missing the extra 1.5 feet here because this is the non-extended 3500 ProMaster. I'm missing it in the sense of garage storage, but I'm not missing the extra foot in length. This feels like a sports car by comparison. Now my van's probably heavier, but overall it's really been an improvement. Great question, Eric. Thank you for that. Anything else improved? I think that's it. Everything else is pretty much the same on the chassis. Oh my God, the headlights are so much better. Holy cow. Yeah, the headlights are so much better. Thank you for the question. Here's Deborah. Hi, Scott. How are the batteries working for you when you are offshore power or running AC? Very good so far. Fortunately, is the inverter on there now? I think it is. I think I've discovered that this AC unit is a gold mine. I was in the adventure van made by 27 North last night with a 12 volt Dometic. That thing was noisy. It really didn't cool very well. I was plugged into shore power, and this Drieha system is like, it's whisper quiet. It's so efficient, and it's pretty efficient on battery. I haven't really given it a good test yet, Deborah, but we will be making a video in the next couple of weeks and endurance testing the battery, running the AC, not plugged in. Oh, the dogs are checking me out. They got these friendly dogs, me and the dogs. Cheers. Oh, this stuff's really good. It's my second bourbon this week, as I think about it. Interesting. I will say, no, it's not a fair comparison because my battery pack is nearly 8 years old. And in DC current mode only, the inverter not on, just running of direct current. So the water pump, the fridge, the LED lights, I can go for about 5 days pretty consistently in my van. This one, I'm pretty confident. Again, direct current mode only. That could extend to probably 7 or 8 days. I'm going to hopefully test that too. That means you can't really drive around. You have to sit still. Me sitting still is pretty hard. But so far, I've been really impressed on the MasterVolt system. Terry's and the Embassy RV team really have this nailed. What's cool about this one is I just turn the engine on, and it starts in about a minute or two. Just the regular idle 700 RPMs will then start to charge the system. It doesn't charge the batteries as fast as my Volta system does. But I have to be at high idle, which is 1500 RPMs to have that charge, and it puts a lot of juice in under an hour. I'm almost fill the battery. Again, not the case here, but you don't have to run it high idle. In fact, I won't do it at all. But I'm really, really enjoying the freedom of lithium, right? And the MasterVolt, I think they really got a home run here. And if there is a problem, I can call Terry, I guess, but they can MasterVolt into the system over the air and diagnose problems. I've not had any problems yet. I'm not expecting any, but good question. Thank you. Potty talk with Scott, no problem. Christine wants to, let's go right to the toilet talk. Please tell me why some love the Lavio, some love the Separett Tiny. Is it the added cost of the Lavio? I need help figuring this out. I think either of those, and in all transparency, I have not used a cassette toilet, so I don't have direct experience with that. I have lots of experience with a traditional wet flush toilet into a traditional black tank. That's not what your question is about here. I do have a limited experience with the Lavio. In September, I overnighted in 2 different Embassy vehicles equipped with the Lavio, and I found them to be pretty efficient. Not gross, really, but I think some folks have concerns about the cartridges, the expense of the stacking up because they get pretty big in volume. I have again limited experience on that. What I have found though is any kind of maintenance is the wrong word, but you need to keep buying the cartridges. I think they're about $50 for a cartridge, and I don't know, maybe somebody does how many flushes you get with that. Now you can kind of pee and then put some cat litter or some stuff like that, so you can extend the flushes between, number 1, number 2. Well, certainly number 2 you want to do right away, of course, flush. But what I'm loving about the tiny Separett Tiny, I'll get it someday, is that there's endless capacity. I mean, you empty the urine tank. It's about a 2-gallon urine tank. And Bob's got a great point. Don't go to bed with your urine tank about 2/3 full. I made that mistake. And it's so you empty your urine tank kind of wherever you want and wherever it's appropriate. And then I think I've done tank duty, which is now bag duty. I think I've done it twice in a month. And just think about never having to find a dump station, worry about the capacity. It's endless now. And it's just such a relief. I think if you can get past, and I was super worried, Christine, about this, the grossness of it. I was thoroughly grossed out for the first day and a half. But now I have to make some changes a little bit, even with the Lavio, right? But I am totally sold on this system. I'm actively trying to replace my my Thetford wet flush black tank in my Travado with this thing because it's just bulletproof, and the freedom that it gives is like lithium. It's endless black toilet capacity, and there's no expense. I'm using regular garbage bags because I'm double bagging just in case of leak. Now they got these fancy little biodegradable, look super flimsy to me, bags by Separett, but I'm just doing a double bag on the traditional trash can bag, and I'm loving it. It's so amazing, the freedom of not having to worry about it ever again until I get back at my Travado. So I'm all thumbs up for either one. I'm 2 thumbs up for the Separett Tiny. Thanks again, Bob Scott, for talking Justin into it. Because I was horrified, but it all turned out good. I wonder if I should turn the lights down. It's getting a little weird in here with the lighting. It's getting brighter outside. I see a good question from Justin. Let's see. Do you miss not having a bug screen for the slider? More importantly, yes, I do. And I accidentally broke that at Weird Wild West, thinking it was a grab handle or something. I'm not sure what I was doing. I miss it, but I didn't use it a lot because it while efficient and worked for all these years, it didn't really seal well. What I do miss is my kind of awning style window with a bug screen in it on the patio door in particular, because that one I used all the time. And MC has a homegrown screens solution, and I'm not a super fan of it. If I was to have this as a personal rig, I'd probably get a bug screen, which is a professional third-party product. Right now I've got the GJs right there, George Johnson's, Craig Johnson's, sorry, Craig, the GJs, that's what I call them, window screens that he makes in Wheeling, Illinois. And I will be, as soon as the bugs start rolling in here, I'm going to close the patio door. And but I didn't really use the bug screen a lot. Doing in a case like this, but there's been no bugs. It's so windy. It swats them out of the air. Here's Peace Seeker. We still let our neighbors to the south in as long as you don't bring the orange one with you. Oh. The Orange Julius, Orange Caesar. Yeah, I get it. That's funny. That's right. Bob's in New Zealand. Holy cow. What time of day is it? What day is it? Bob and Deb. Toilet question above. Yes, Christian. If you have any more follow-up on that, I'm happy to talk. Body talk. I am not missing my wet flush toilet at all. Very used to it. I'm not missing having to, because right now I've been running since, so I changed it out. Anyway, I'm probably like 4 or 5 days in on the tank capacity on my Travado. So I'm supposed to be home tomorrow. So actively looking for the sewer clean out dump station we installed in front of the house, but we got guests this weekend. So guess what? I can't use it. So that was always a huge stress point for me. So, and I'm probably, if it gets full, because I'm in it when I'm at home base, my van, I probably have to go pay $30 for a dump station at the RV campground park down the street. It's $30 to empty 15 gallons of waste. It drives me crazy. No more. Lavio, same solution, right? No more. So there we go. Here's Yusan. Is that how you say that? Happy Washington, DC. Good to see you, sir. What? So for FYI, safety stuff in my new van likely saved someone's life this week and possibly mine. Oh my gosh. If you can share a little bit. I'm glad you were able to do things of consequence there. That's really interesting. I want to get a real first aid kit in here, and I want to go to a first aid class. I want to make it a roundup, meet and greet, so we can all do it together. Those that are interested, I'm hoping to make that happen next month. Wow. So here's Sherry. Sherry's got a traditional composting. Some people love the Lavio. Some are concerned the cartridge costs and have figured out how to extend cartridges Separett is a great version of a composting toilet. Yeah, composting I've always kind of associated with, material in there, and I haven't used any material. Everything goes into the solids tank. But thank you, Sherry, for that. It's I'm loving it. I was all now if I was to get a cat, I'd probably put the lightweight cat litter in there just to give it some fragrance when things go in, like the paper and what have you. But I mean, there's no smell at all. It's stunning to me how there is no odor at all in the Separett Tiny. And it kind of blows my mind, because when I use a traditional residential toilet, there's always some, sorry to gross you out, odor associated with that. There was no odor in this thing. It's just the weirdest thing. Let's see. So here's Terry. Terry, good to be here. Thank you for that. Have you had any alternator issues on the Embassy RV Dolphin SS? No. This rig, I picked it up with 72 miles, and it now has 2,200 miles. No issues. Although weirdly, the check engine light's on because it's got some recalls. I told Terry I'll take it in, but nothing here on my van, my Travada with the Volta Pure 3 energy system. I've never had any alternator issues. Did have a belt issue. I was a very early, now well-known issue. Was not alternator, it was a belt installation by Winnebago. And then because I was doing trainings for Volta, they upgraded my original alternator to what's, I think, still being installed, which is 180 or 90 amp Volta built generator, and it's super great. It really makes things hum. Where's the shadow coming from? This one? Is it too much light still? Try that. I don't look too weird. There, it's a little better. Let's see. Here's Pam. Is this microphone Pam? Hi, Pam. Thanks for the question. Thanks for being here. Question: do you keep the front windows with the screens open at night? We have cats and wanted to get max ventilation, but we're worried about safety. I think you'd be fine unless they're really the picky type. But this is way safer, and they would wake you up in the middle of the night, I'm sure, if they were scratching to pull this thing apart. But it is really heavy duty, made with really heavy duty nylon window screen. It's not the typical window screen wire that separates really easily. So I think you'd be fine. And it's just one of the greatest joys, even at home base tonight. I'm going to leave them in this mode right here, as you can see, and then turn on the max air fan just to pull some air in. But it's going to be 56 here tonight. So and then you're going to hear the noises around you. And out here, we're going to hear probably crickets, and an owl would be cool. And then in the morning when the sun comes up, we got the roosters, the chickens. I got a whole bunch of chickens, and all the birds in the morning. So I just love having these in, and I use them frequently. And they're way more secure than the awning style windows, or even the side-by-side windows, because you really can't get in unless you're really trying hard. In which case, I got mace. I don't know. Thanks for the question. Wow, there's Tim and Kim. What's up? Fort Worth. Good to see you, folks. Here's Jusan. I'm sure how to say that. I try to use the solidifiers for urine. This is a super absorbent polymer powder that turns liquid into a gel-like substance, reducing the risk of splashes and spills. I would thank you for that suggestion. I think that would work in a Lavio very well. That would not work in a Separett Tiny. Why? Because it needs to be liquid, flowing liquid, to get out of the tank. So I don't want anything to coagulate, but I am doing the liquid. What I am doing is putting in some liquid. It's Camco brand. It's for gray tank, black tank, to kind of break down the matter and give it a fresh smell. It's pine, which I really like. Yeah, in the Separett Tiny, I would highly recommend not putting anything in, because it will coagulate. Then you can't get the stuff out, because it has a little tiny hole. of it to come out, and going in, it's a much bigger hole in the drain because it separates urine and solids. And I've gotten really good at aiming, so I can stand like a man during the day. Thank you, Jusan. I'm not sure I say your name. And at night, I sat down on my toilet anyway because I didn't have to worry about aiming. I just sit. My eyes can be closed, and I do that here. So no difference there. Javier wants to know, are you planning to do any more videos of Cape Cod RV? Probably in June when I get back to Embassy RV headquarters. Yes, we want to do more of those, and they keep iterating very nicely on those. It's a very compelling rig. They had a great showing at the Peace, Love, and Vans event. So yes, we will be doing that. And I've got a bucket full of content, and I've got to get busy because April is a few days away, and then I got May, then I got to return this thing. So I've got 60 days, and I probably have just technical type videos, right? The next one you're going to see, I think, is Stealth Embassy versus the Travado. But yeah, lots more coming your way, Javier. Stay tuned, sir. Thank you for your interest. I don't think it has the mash bill on here, but I just taste a lot of rye. It says distilled from 4 slow-grown grains. Fallon, Nevada, 90 proof. Oh, here it is right here. I'm kind of right. So it's 66 yellow corn. Man, that is not senior citizen print. Let's see. 10% winter wheat, 11, almost 12% winter rye, and then 12% 2-row barley malted on site. Malted barley is good. So yeah, that's kind of why it tastes like it's got a little bit of rye in it. Don't you love when people put stuff in print you can't read until you get your glasses out? I'm like, people, half America's over like 50 years old, so get it together. So JB wants to know, do you use the awning much on Miss Lily? We're thinking about getting a van without one. I would recommend not having an awning, but having a manual deployed awning. Awnings can be super awesome when they work. Mine broke initially. I can't even remember why. Got it fixed. And then when I got rear-ended, it tweaked the casing. Winnebago Motorhomes, Rockford, Illinois, fixed it. We replaced the motor, but because it was tweaked, the motor burned out on like the 4th use. Fortunately, it was burned out on the way in, so it closed. And that was at Peace, Love, and Vans last year, and I've never tried it since because the motor's burned out. I would prefer just to get rid of it, although it looks kind of cool. Embassy doesn't put awnings on because they are so problematic in a lot of cases. What I would probably do is getting a much better brand, like a Fiamma or the Tool, however you say it. Not Carefree, because they're apparently not carefree at all. That's the ones everybody has a problem with. And my next van, if it doesn't come with one, I'm not going to be sad. I'd rather have a manual deployment, maybe even a manual crank, and legs that adhere to the side of the van versus just kind of hanging out. Because in this wind, I wouldn't have it out anyway. And it's a good question, JB, because I actually used it mostly for shade on the van to keep at least one side of the van in shade in sunny, hot weather. That made a dramatic difference. So I do miss it for that, but I just gotten really good at looking for shady spots. So hopefully that helps. There's some Embassy owners that I can't remember the name brands, but they gotten really creative. And I like those kinds of ideas if it takes a few minutes to set up versus pushing a button in 15 seconds, but you're on a manual system, which is kind of cool. Bob Scott, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Good Lord. It's almost time for happy hour. Cheers. We'll go for another, 10, 15 minutes here. Let's see. Bob Scott says, tile number 1, ever got to bed without dumping the urine? Yeah, I made that mistake once. And I should have taken your advice more seriously, Bob, than I did. Now like I probably will give it a little feel tonight just to see where it is. I'm getting better at kind of feeling what the weight is. I do wish it had and Bob, give me a thumb up if you agree with me on this, a yellow light. Because currently when it's full, the light turns red. So you're like, oh, piss, right? You got to do something. You can't go anymore, otherwise it will flow over, and you don't want that. So I wish I had a yellow light as however it measures that. So you got a few more uses, and you need to empty it before it gets to red. But let's see. Here's thanks for being here, everybody. We got a great crowd on a Friday night. So here's SB. I think you recently said you're not moving the bed away from the wall and then propping up the backrest pillows in. If I heard you right, how come I would need all the width I can get? It's a great question, SB. I'm used to I have a large bed in my Travado. It's a 4x6 bed. And in that 4 feet width, I probably literally sleep in less than 30 inches wide. Why? It's what I've gotten really comfortable to. It has this little crease. So I've just gotten really used to that. And it's under the cabinet. So it feels like I'm in a bedroom. Nice and cozy. Here, the more I move the bed away from the wall, I'm more in the middle of the van, which is just something I'm not used to, number one. And number two, when I put the back cushions down, they never really lay completely flat. So there's now a ridge. And I found it to be more uncomfortable than I was expecting. I tried it. And I tried it without those. I liked it better with the cushion moved out so I could kind of flop my hands on the sides. I can't remember the width of this. So the bed, so what I've discovered is I like to have up against the wall. So that's what I have in my Travado. So I sleep against the wall, either one way or the other way. I'm kind of a side sleeper. And I've just found it to be way more comfortable. I get a much better sleep without those back cushions deployed, because it's a flat surface then versus kind of this raised thing. And by moving the bed, have the bed stay against the wall, I can then kind of cozy up to it. Hopefully that makes sense. The adventure van I was in last night, I think it had a 26 or maybe 28. I think it was 26-inch width bed. That was skinny. I don't know if I should I measure this quick? Let me measure it real fast, because now you got me thinking. Hang tight. I want to do with it. What I do with the books right here. So I'm going to measure. So from the wall to the well, this one's 26, so the other one must have been 22. So 26 inches wide is what this is from the wall. So that thing must have been 24 or 22 inches last night. It was pretty skinny. But that's why I do that. If you need the width, then move the bed all the way out, put the cushions down. I think it'll be fine, especially if you kind of are in the middle of the bed. I just like to be up against the wall. I'm kind of weird. Here's Terry. Thanks for being here. Are you in the RAM 2024, 2025? I don't know exactly, to be honest. I'm guessing it's late 2024, but it's got all the new chassis, not that half and half that was happening back in 2023. I'll have to check with Embassy. I don't have the thing. It's a good question. I don't know, but they're considering a 2025 build out, and that's what would be on the registration, because that's when it was outfitted. Shelby, what's up? Good to see you, ma'am. Thanks for being here. Jumping in late. Tucson, Arizona, one of my favorite towns. 85. Gas is going up over $3. Tucson. Source of your window screen. Greg Johnson makes these in his home workshop. If you go to my website, gosmallivelarge.com, there's a product page, and I think his product is front and center. He click the button and it sends an email directly to him. I think they're $100 for a pair. And he builds them for the ProMaster, the Sprinter, and the Transit, which is pretty awesome. Let's see. I said like a woman. There's a lot of benefits to it. There, the spray is the spray, right? There's a stream of spray. I don't know. We don't want to gross anybody out. So Kathy's talking about the situation. Bank tire stopped at interstate as I changed lanes behind him. Braking sufficient. The anti-braking engage and stopped inches. Well, I'm glad that the 35-mile to commute, right? Isn't that the statistic? If you're going to get in a crash, it's within a few miles of your home base. Glad everything worked out. That'd be bad to have your second van. Nothing to laugh at. I apologize, but so Shelby's got a good point. I think a lot of if you're having trouble with your awnings, go to a reputable dealer. Advance outside of Milwaukee's awesome. If that's the one you're talking about, right? If that's what you're talking about, but yeah, a lot of the smaller ones you're gonna have better results, I think. Kathy's saying no awning equals more stealth, which is 100% true. Moonshade, and that's one of them. Thank you, Bob. You kind of magnetically. There's one of them you throw the strap over the van. I'm kind of a fan, I think, of the magnetic, and that's like tent poles. If you're going to sit tight for a few days, that would be a great shade, privacy, awnings. So next, let's see, some embassy owners own a Kelty awning, which provides shade. Good to know. Whoa, the Van Caskies. What's up? Yeah, Bob and Hillary. We had them on a few weeks ago. They were just awesome. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Speaking of the YouTube stars, the Van Caskies, if you haven't subscribed to their channel, please do. And next week, we've got Charlie Grace coming, a solo female traveler now in an Echo. And that would join us for that. And then I think in 2 weeks, we're actually having VanLife Outfitters on to talk specifically about awnings for vans. So that was a big topic, and we're going to have them on, and we're talking about awnings specifically. This is a good idea. How about a second liquid container? Just swap it out. So funny you say that, Kathy, because I've actually solved that problem by now buying some water in gallon jugs, milk gallon jugs, and I keep an empty one in the back so that I can transfer liquid in the sink without too much grossness, in case I do have a middle of the night and forgot to empty it type of deal. So again, it's just kind of working through the system a little bit and being adaptable, not being grossed out. It comes from your own body, so whatever, right? But I would prefer to do that than have another cartridge that you got to deal with, because milk jugs, and then I just empty it or whatever. Red light's fine with us. Green, yellow, red. Good to know. Jennifer's in the coastal Virginia. Lovely today. I'd love to know how you feel about windows that don't open. I'm wishing these did, I'll be honest, and it's now an option. So Embassy will cut windows in the slide with a screen. I think they didn't do that to this because they were in a rush to get this van out so that I could get into it on the time frame we agreed to for Peace, Love, and Van. So I do miss that a lot, I'll be honest. Now he has kind of redesigned his scupper ventilation system. They don't have fans built. This one doesn't have a fan built in to them, so that there's none of that fan noise. This is why it's a special edition. There's a lot of not a lot, but several modifications they're experimenting with, and it does a good job in silence. You use the max air fan to pull air in from the outside through those. I think there's 4 or 5 on this, but it's, I don't think, a substitute for having a window like this situation or side windows for a cross breeze. And I'd even go for one, what I'd love to see is windows that open in the cargo doors. I think Road Trek's the only one that has those. I don't know why, because it could be very pleasant up here, but it's completely stuffy in the back. So yeah, but they will do that for you now. Daughter in Florida, how dare you, sir? Roads of Life, good evening. Oh, we got a big group in here. This is great. On Friday night. Yeah, and you know what's really interesting? Thank you, Miss Chatter. I like snuggling up against the wall and leaning on it. What I found that's really pleasant here is because it's this padded, really nice quality marine vinyl. It's so much more cozy than the hard plastic. I'm looking for hard plastic, you know. It's not even that good. That Winnebago puts in the Trovatos for walls. And I really am liking that a lot. How long is the battery lasting in Embassy Dolphin S? And how does it compare to Lily? I don't have a good read on it yet, to be honest. I do think that in direct current mode only, this can go for, meaning it's just max air fan, refrigerator, water pump, LED lights. There's no doubt that this can go for probably 7-8 days stationary, just using that. Maybe the inverter very sparingly. Whereas Lily, now it's almost an 8-year-old battery pack, so it's not completely fair, but maximum I can get 5 days, probably more likely 4. So this has way more capacity on direct current mode. I don't have a good bead on anything else at this point because I've been moving around a lot. I've been plugged into home base. And Embassy RV does everything in amps. I think this is a 12 amp system. So the math is just all not in my favor. I need to get with Terry and send him what the amp is and have him do the watts equivalent, because that's the world I live in. That's a lot of the world we all live in. A lot of folks like to talk, like this adventure van I was in last night, 27 North. It had 2 Lithionics 310 amp hour lithium batteries. But it's all about the voltage of the system, and I don't know. Nobody says what voltage their system is on. A lot of them are moving to 48, where volt has always been at, and that changes the numbers in terms of watt hours. So I don't know. Stay tuned. We got a lot of tests coming up. Here's Eric saying the moonshade. So that must be he got his Winnebago adventure van, so it must be a popular one. It looks like I'm at the beach or something, doesn't it? That looks cool now. Yeah, this is kind of a side sleeper and yeah, kind of cozy up with the pedal and stay against the wall. Yeah, it's kind of nice. Things we talk about is RVers, van lifers. It's so funny. I love it. Maybe that's why we're all so cool. We kind of like live in a glass jar. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Let's see. Here's Sauce Boss. Woo. I want to see a Dolphin on the ProMaster. Yes, please. So I'm going to be at home base in the West Palm Beach, Florida area. Hit me up. My email address is on my website, gosmalllivelarge.com. We're going to be doing roundups, meetups, meet and greets throughout Florida and the greater Southeast over the coming 2 months. So please visit my website, visit us on What's Up Wednesday. That's where I make announcements, but I would love to show you this. It's a great floor plan. I just don't like lagoon tables, but that's me. Let's see. And Caskies. Although this adventure van I was in last night, by Adventure 27 North, had 2 lagoon tables. And those were pretty good because they were appropriately sized and they were really sturdy. I didn't find them nearly as offensive as some of them. And it too had 2 twin beds. I'm surprised this is 26. And to kind of put that in perspective, the Road Trek twin bed model has 30 or 32 inch wide, and there still has a fair hallway down the middle. Those have really wide beds. I can't remember the Travato K off the top of my head. But this one last night was skinnier than this. So it had to be 24 inches. We did measure it. I just can't remember. It was very comfortable though. Strange. Here's Terry again. Terry, we'll go for another, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, might be a full hour. Love all this great info about the embassy van. Look forward to another 2 months of info. What will we be driving after June? I'll be returning to Sad and Lonely Lily. We're going to be making some little bit of updates. I'm going to install a drip rail and a couple of little projects on the van. But I'm eager to get back into her. I really love this color scheme in here. It's so bright, so modern. And with all my plants, it doesn't feel sanitary is the word I'm coming up with, but antiseptic. It doesn't feel plastic. And whereas my van is really dark inside. And I love the lighting in here. I was kind of concerned about the lighting. This is not a good example where I'm sitting tonight, but I really like the mood lighting in here and the really bright LEDs for daylight. So there's a lot that I'm going to miss, but stay tuned. Let's see. Oh, Leonard's in here. We have the however you say it, like the Fiamma. More on old van. Yeah, I'd say those on higher end rigs. I see those two brands. Is it Thule? Thule? I never get it right. Fiamma, I can say that one. So the adventure van, they at 27 North, I was in, they had the Fiamma 10 foot. It goes out. It did have legs attached to the van. Wait to see it's such a cool van. It's what do you think about the Nouveau RV? I think they're amazing. They're very European. I'm going to be there this time tomorrow, or next week rather, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're having a big open house. A bunch of folks are going. Van Caskey's are going. Neil and Britt, Beyond the Fern, Frisco Tea. I just learned that the Russos are going. Stranger Palooza's going, and they got 200 of their closest friends going. So it's going to be a wild ride next weekend. Super excited. They make great RVs only on Ram. And they had that super high roof model that is, it defies gravity. And it has a lift bed and a lounge underneath, or the rear lounge only. Neither of those have the front lounge, like the light. That's probably what I would get because I like the front lounge. But they're very European. They're very well built. You get a lot of money, or a lot of van for the money. It takes a lot of money to get a van, but you get a lot of van for the money. And I'm really proud of that team for doing what they've accomplished. Thank you for that. Hopefully, Nouveau Life, NOOVOLIFE is their website. Nouveau Life. I don't disagree with you. If you live in a stick and brick home, you wouldn't be talking to people about how you crap and pee. This is not normal. Agree. You'd be talking about, I don't know, yard services and the neighbors and sports. That's what you talk about. We do love our party talk because it's how do you, what's your style of travel? What makes you comfortable? What is going to make you feel the most comfortable on the road, like you do at home? Bum spraying systems. What the heck is that thing? Well, that was bug spray. I'm like, whatever. Let's see. Is Lee. Hi, Scott. Our carefree awning has never been carefree like the stealth idea. Now I want a Separett. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some hardcore. I want to have them send me one and see if I can get a free one because they're like $1,000. Since I'm such a YouTube influencer, they got a truck camper couple on their website talking about it, the toilet, and I want to be the next guy. So I'm working with a mobile RV tech to see if he can swap it out. Terry said it's fairly easy. Maybe I'll drive Lily up to Embassy RV in June after I return the Dolphin and have Terry and the team swap it out. Now that would be a video. Holy cow. Whoops. Inside dimensions of the microwave. How are we doing on time? All right, we got a few more minutes. Hang tight. You guys want to see that? Since I have my tape measure here, it's a big microwave. I think it's actually a little too big for the size of the van. But what do I know? Let's see. Interior dimension. It's a Greystone. Let's see. It's 13 by 7 by 12. 13 by 7 by 12. 13 by 7 by 12. This thing and I were the best friend all day yesterday measuring stuff. 13 by 7 by 12. There's smaller microwaves. I think you can get away with that here. I'm going to give Terry that feedback because it's a big unit and it's just in your face when you're using the sink. It does have a mirrored door, which is kind of cool. If you're brushing your teeth or checking yourself. I like that, but I think it's just a little bigger than it needs to be in a van of this size. 13 by 7 by 12 is that I said. Thank you. Thank you for that. Stay on your meds. Cheers. Yes, thumbs up. Thank you, Kathy. Let's see. We'll go just a few more minutes. Here is Justin. Thank you, mathematic guy. 920 amps at times 12 volts equals 1200. Let's round up kilowatts. So 12,000 watts. And I can't remember what this one has. It's in my email. I'm doing a whole specs on this van, but I have to be very, very specific. So I'll wait till we get back home. Thank you, Justin. So, but see, if you did the 920 amp hours at 48 volts, the end result's much different, right? And that's kind of so if this is accurate, thank you, 1200. So this unit has, in kilowatts, watts. Mine has about 8,000 watts. This has 12,000 watts. So it's a significantly bigger battery to start with, which kind of makes sense why you can go, I think, several more days on direct current mode. And the times at home base camp, I have been running around doing errands with the AC on. And they was not driving like 40 minutes. It was like driving 10 or 15 minutes and AC on. And I saw a draw much less than Lily. So now I'm getting the math lesson. Thank you, gentlemen. MasterVolt 13 amps, you're right. 12,000. So 12,000 kilowatts. See, that makes sense to me. 12,000 watts. So that means at 12,000 watts, 12 kilowatts, the AC draws about 1,200 watts. It shows amps on the control panel. So again, it's like what? So if the compressor's running full blast all the time, consuming 1,200 watts an hour, that gives you 10 hours of air conditioning, which is a lot. Dave wants to know, hi, Scott, how do you charge house batteries on the Dolphin? I drive or I plug in. It has a second alternator, and that's how it charges the house batteries. So yeah, Volta does the 48 volt system. Here's Pam. Can you share the color scheme? We're picking our colors, but would love to see what yours looks like. Let me do that. We're at the top of the hour. Let's see. We're really getting the, yes, I will do that for you. I'll turn this around, but I don't want to do it till we're at the end. So I'm not going to knock anything over. I think we'll be okay. Yes, that's a good point too. Roads of Light. So my battery pack has 3 modules. If you have the 4 module, it's about 12,000 watts. He's correcting me. So yeah, they have a newer 13.5 kilowatts, so 13,000 watts of stored energy, which is tremendous, right? And I was one of the original ones. I was probably the first couple dozen. And so I have a 3 module, and it's I think technically 8,600 watts of usable energy. Terry says, we'll be giving a tour of your embassy at the event. Absolutely. Wherever you see me, and that's kind of the problem with this van. It's so incognito. You don't even know it's a motorhome. You don't know it's an RV. You definitely don't really know it's an embassy RV, except for the little stainless steel vents at the top of the roof line on the outside sides of the van. So, yes, wherever I am, even at the state park, I was recording this morning and a couple walked by. I said, we know you. I'm like, what? You know me? And so, yeah, if you're ever out and about, please stop and say hi, because you may know me, but I may not know you. And to answer your question, Terry, yes, wherever I am, or certainly of these meetups, meet and greets, roundups, I call them, we will be, the Dolphin is an open book. We just had a roundup last week. We had quite a few of you out there, and I had people looking at every nook and cranny. That's okay. I live in a glass jar. I get it. If my doors are closed, I'm probably not inviting people in. But if the doors are open and you see me buzzing around, say hi. Appreciate that. Well, here's Jack and Gail. Good to see you. So great. All right, let's call it a wrap. Well, I didn't expect this to go for an hour. You all just rock on a Friday night. So I'm going to turn this around for Pam. Apparently not microphone Pam. There's a story there. So this is on the... how can I do this? I think I'll just spin the table around. So it's on the lagoon. Try this. I'll get out of the way. How's that? And what I really like is these lights. Which one is best? You can turn all these lights. You can control them all as a system on the control panel. That's what I'm pointing out over here. But I leave all these on at the control panel so I can turn them off individually. And these are, if these are LED, they're really nice. They look very incandescent to me, almost halogen, but I'm pretty sure they're LED. But they're very warm. I hope they can hear me, but they're very warm. And I like the fact I can individually control them. Let me just show you that. So like these. Right? And now you can see the mood lighting, which is up above and on the floor. And those two are really nice, warm, like incandescents. And these two, both of those sets of lights are dimmable on the control panel. And then if we hit these lights, these are like, oh my God, it's daylight. Come on, the screen is really sensitive. And has that funny flicker because the whatever, Rob and Justin probably know. So I don't use these at night because these drive me bananas. It's too bright. But in the daytime, it's perfect. So let's get rid of it. But I can actually, those are not even full power. Holy cow. Can I? That's half power. Ladies and gentlemen, ready for full power? I'm going to get a suntan with those things. I'm going to get all the bugs. That's what I'm going to get. Okay. Kyle's calling me. Let's turn those off. But you can see the color scheme there, right? This screen is so sensitive. There we go. The mood lights. Come on. There it goes. So this is now full power. It's like those about half. But you kind of get the point, right? And then the reading lights, I'll turn back on. I can't believe we're not getting bugs. This is amazing. Maybe I should do this before I get bugs. I love these things. So that really shows the color scheme real nice, right? So it's white, really light gray on the walls, light gray on the ceiling, and they call it splashes of color, just these little bands of blue, kind of a darker gray on the sofa. This I really do like. It's really, really, really lovely. And it doesn't feel plastic. It's just incredible. And these things, these are the locks. I'm getting used to these. They're very positive locking. But they've just done a great job here. So hopefully that helps. Yeah. And the other thing I like to do when I'm parked is this. So I don't have to look at the bathroom, or if I'm looking to quick cool the cabin, which I did earlier today. And I'm really glad they use black. A lot of folks use the opaque white, and you can see shadows, and it might as well be transparent, right? It's kind of hard to see, but if I get all the way this way. So you see the cabinet right there. That's with the cabinet down, or the vanity, I should say. So even with the door open and the vanity down, now you can just barely see the toilet right there. So with the vanity down, you don't see the toilet at all, which is real nice. And by having the door open, it gives a little more space. Hopefully that helped. This is what I'm going to look like tonight. That's pretty cool. Actually, I got to put everything away. I had to tear the place apart to get stuff in for the photo shoot, the video shoot. So, all right, folks, thank you for joining this kind of a special edition of a live stream. Kind of went to focus on embassy. Got a lot of questions, a lot of good questions, and everybody showed up. This is great. Yeah, Kim, I wish they would too do a floor plan like this, but they're pretty happy with the results so far. So this ain't bad. I just missed my front lounge a lot, but we'll see everybody. New video hitting on Sunday. In fact, it's a Nouveau Light video, and we'll probably do another embassy video next week before I get to open house in Vegas on the Stealth, kind of a side-by-side comparison. And then we've got Charlie Grace coming on What's Up Wednesday on Wednesday. So a lot going on. I got my journey on. Hopefully you got your journey on, and we will see you soon on the small screen. Peace be love. Peace, love, peace be with you. I need some more medicine. All right, folks, really appreciate you being there. Have a great weekend. We will see you soon.